And what about now?
Yep, perfect.
Can you see the board?
Yep, it is perfect.
Okay. So this was a second round. In the first round, I won a drawish pawn endgame in time trouble of my opponent. So
Oh, against Kovacevic, right?
yeah, but actually we can go over that game quickly as well. I mean, because it's quite interesting. Let's say when we observe on chessbomb and we see all the zeros, and usually you see someone lost then, and you say like, how could he lose? It was completely equal.
I actually, yes, please. Can we please go to
Yeah.
see
Do,
that
do,
game?
do you understand what I talk about?
I know exactly what you're talking about,
Yeah.
and
And,
I.
and, and usually and usually kind of the comment is like, such a moron, he made such a stupid mistake, it was completely zero.
How?
But once you start getting into positions, understanding some nuances, it's not that easy usually. So
Maybe it's not so easy.
yeah. So I will mostly go quickly through the game and go to the main point, but let's go from the start.
Sure. I actually have played him in Spanish as well, and I drew him in exchange Spanish. He took bishop takes c6
Yeah,
against
he
me.
plays exchange Spanish from time to time as well, and usually he doesn't play anything else other than Spanish with white on e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. So rarely Italian, Scotch, or almost never.
All
If I
right.
remember, he had in his whole career maybe 2 games in Italian. So he is quite principled in his opening choices.
All right.
And I kind of wanted to surprise him a little bit, because never before I played the following line. I was also thinking at the time, should I play something more correct and serious, like Berlin, or some let's say Breyer variation of Spanish or something like that. But then I saw and checked a little bit with my friend the following line: Bishop c5.
It's actually very interesting. I just played the Breyer in the tournament I played the local tournament here.
Okay.
And in the critical round, actually, I won with Berlin against like 2300. So I feel pretty good about Berlin at the moment.
Yeah, me too. Actually, Berlin has a kind of bad reputation on a little bit of a lower level, like kind of it's a dull opening. It's a like, you want a draw, you want this. No, actually, it's probably, I mean,
It's
not probably the one of the best or the best opening for black on 1e4.
I started.
And
Yes.
yeah,
Sorry. Go ahead.
I also wanted to say it's actually quite interesting from let's say beginning point of chess. So bishop b5, and 2 main moves are a6 and knight f6. And let's say you go a6, bishop a4, and all the stuff, and let's say you play Breyer variation. And usually in Breyer you have to know 15 or 20 moves of theory just to start the game.
Agree.
All the pieces are on, and everything is just about to go on. And for me, I mean, once you start thinking about it, move 3, and white is already faced with first decision.
After knight f6, right?
So as early as possible, you're challenging white to kind of show their cards.
I think that was Kramnik's original intentions, right? How he came up with.
Yeah, and I mean, let's say if you kind of observe the game from the point of view, what is the best reply? So you kind of take the center, develop, and challenge the white center as quickly as possible. So in that regard, it's one of the best or the best opening, and computers agree. So okay,
interesting.
Yeah. What I didn't want is because he occasionally plays the short castle and the symmetrical line, and true to be said, it's not that easy to win the game there. Positions are either slightly better for white or equal, but I wanted a little bit more fun and something different than Berlin for this game.
Yeah.
So I prepared a little bit before the tournament bishop c5. Of course, I let's say didn't have enough time to prepare it completely and seriously, and also I still cannot say if it's objectively completely equal. I would say white is slightly better in a couple of ways, but it's quite playable, and as a surprise weapon it could work quite well.
So knight e5 is just bad, right? Right now you have a lot of things.
Knight e5, you go queen g5, actually.
Yeah, I was looking at maybe.
I think knight e5, you go queen g5, and you can go queen e7. It's kind of queen e7 if you want just completely equal game.
Yeah.
And take on e4 after exchanges, and queen g5 is if you want to have more fun and more ambitious for black.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
If I remember. So yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I will go a little bit more quicker.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I already said it, but we had some detour, so I will speed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I want to show that moment in the pawn endgame. So knight g7, short castle, knight g6, d4, bishop a7, take, knight d5, queen e7. Yeah, and actually at this moment on, my analysis went queen f3.
Okay.
Queen e5, bishop f4, queen e7, queen g3, bishop e6, queen g7. Long castle, bishop e7, take, rook d8, and now I will have to put a small digression because I already said I don't use Lila. This is the variation that I checked with my friend, and he is well equipped with strong chess engines.
I see.
And Lila or Alpha Zero or whatever it is here says it's equal.
Equal,
yeah. And like 0 zeros, and it's quite a lot of fun. And the games are the moves are quite funny, like b5, queen d3. It takes your exchange and 2 pawns down, but it's total mess.
Okay, let's say knight. Let's say knight a3. How do you?
Let's say knight a3.
Queen f4 and rook d2 maybe.
I don't know. Queen d2, f4, rook d2, b5, like something of that nature.
Queen d2, actually.
I was at first kind of skeptical, but then, I mean, you have quite a lot of play, strong bishops, you have some threats, you're at the same time playing both strategically and tactically. So I would play it in a game.
That bishop on a7 is a dangerous monster.
Yeah, it's a real monster. So...
Okay.
But you know what was funny? Because during the game, I was completely unsure what to do if he simply takes the
c7.
And then I started being pissed off, like, I mean, why you didn't stop and check what goes on? Because it's quite primitive, strong looking and stuff. And actually, I still didn't consult with my friend what Lila says, but I was kind of during the game like, what goes on here? I was checking it a little bit with Stockfish 9, but he says already white is much better, and I'm like, what? Like opening contact is not working all of a sudden, yeah?
Did I just mess up?
Yeah, I mean, like bishop c7, like all of a sudden I'm a pawn down. Bishop d6.
And you can't castle.
Yeah, I cannot castle. I don't see any idea for me, and this is supposed to be so cool for black. Why? How? And my deep idea was like, if he plays this, I will stop and think for a long time. So, yeah.
Always an option.
What?
Always an option.
Yeah. But he played queen h5. And now I started thinking like h6 looks so natural to me. Like I want to prevent bishop 5. Okay, should I speed up because we have a couple of games, or it's okay?
No, that's good. That's good. I actually have
Yeah.
seen this idea. No rush, no rush. Like we
Okay,
can,
sure.
yeah, no rush at all. Like this is great because I play this. I mean, similar positions as black.
And it's kind of a modern variation, and it was played by Grandmaster Nabati from Israel and Paravian, if I'm correct. And it kind of is not that simple.
You mean?
So it could be used occasionally as a surprise and a decent one as it looks.
Do you mean this particular position or in general H6 G5?
In general, Bishop C5 on the move 4 and this variation as well. This continuation. I mean.
Interesting.
So he played Queen H5, and I was kind of happy at this moment because he didn't play Queen F3, Bishop F4.
Yeah.
Because this Bishop C7 line was creating some trouble for me in the analysis in the game, because I was worried about what could be the black's plan. Probably something like F6 and some G5 H5, but anyways, it looked shaky to me. So after Queen H5 H6, I felt quite comfortable for black here.
Okay.
I mean, the bishop on A7 is nice. I have a bishop's pair. I will probably go on a long castle. Most likely, I will collect back the pawn on E5. And let's see. So he went knight A3.
There is no way to protect that pawn, like bishop G5, bishop F4 G3.
Well, bishop F4. I wasn't that worried because I thought I shouldn't go G5. I should first start with G6, force the queen away, then G5, then H5, and I think I have quite a cool position there.
Okay, I see. I like that. Yeah.
Because if I play G5, Bishop G3, it's not that easy to get rid of the queen, and I cannot attack it that easy. Maybe it's not that good for white, but it's a bit troublesome. So my idea was G6 and then G5 and roll with the pawn.
Makes sense.
So he went knight A3. I went G5. Yeah. Of course, now my idea is to take on E5 and develop as quickly as possible. So he played Queen F3.
Okay.
I took. He went knight C4, Queen E6, B3, Bishop D7. And around this point, I was getting quite happy with my position. I thought I just need to be in time to make a long castle, and did this resemblance of an exchange Spanish, and I think black got quite a good version.
Yeah.
But it was his turn to move, and he went the natural developing move, Bishop E3. And now I was faced with a choice. Bishop E3 looked kind of normal, but after Queen E3, I don't have a safe square for my king. If I go long castle, he can go Queen A7.
Exactly.
And of course, I kind of expected Bishop E3 when I was playing all this stuff with Queen E5, Queen E6, and my idea was C5. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm aware that I'm closing the bishop, but I thought my long-term factors are much more important and dangerous, because I only need to be in time to go long castle, Bishop C6, and all is good. Mm-hmm. But of course, it was his turn to move, so he went Rook A1, long castle, and Rook D5. And now, this is critical position in my opinion, and I was considering a couple of moves here. I was considering to go
Bishop C6?
Something like, Bishop C6, it looks natural and strong, but I was worried a little bit like Rook E5, let's say Queen G6, Bishop C5, take, and I thought it's kind of close to equal, but I was not really happy with what goes on there. Mm-hmm. It kind of simplifies. I am still a pawn down, and I mean, I wasn't that satisfied, but probably it was the strongest move. And I played completely anti-positional move. At the time I was aware of it, but I mean, it looks really stupid and really ugly and kind of going against all the principles of chess.
But man's gotta do what he's gotta do.
in a way, but my kind of line of thinking was I just need a move or two to connect everything. So if I'm in time to go bishop c6 and move something, his pieces are not that well placed overall. I mean, I can wait a couple of moves for that bishop to come back to play. I am fine with that. I need to exchange, let's say, one rook, and my play is quite okay. But it was his turn to move, and he started using Tempest to gain some activity.
Yeah, that's interesting. And
which was correct way to play. So overall, this position is objectively between slightly and much worse for me after b6, because with concrete play, I am unable to finish my maneuvering because my queen is getting attacked move by move. So it's forcing. Position is of forcing nature.
Yeah.
So rook e5, queen g6, rook e7, rook e8. Of course, this was kind of forced and accepted, but now he is in position to take my bishop. After queen d6.
That was a good try, right? The rook e5, rook e7. That was a good maneuver.
Yeah, I think it was the best continuation for him.
Okay. Yeah.
Otherwise, I would say rook f5 was also an option, but to me, rook e5, rook e7 was the best he could do.
Yeah.
And he has advantage there between slightly better and much better, I would say. And I mean, not only me, computer agrees as well. Rook e8, knight d7, queen e7, rook d1, queen e6. And now we reach this position. Here I was evaluating it as slightly better for him. Okay. I mean, he has a, let's say, for now, better looking bishop. He doesn't have a double pawns. His rook is taking the line, even though it's not that important yet. My idea was kind of just go bishop b8, c6, bishop b7, and go from there. And if I'm in time to achieve that setup, I consider my chances to be quite normal and pretty much equal.
Classic exchange Spanish play.
And actually, I think around this point he had some strong continuation, and probably that was the only one that was giving him some decent advantage.
E5?
After e5, I was thinking, I think like bishop b, no, not bishop b8, like king b8 and then something. Probably something like that.
No, bishop b8 looks also good actually. And then
no, bishop b8 he has queen a8 and queen a6.
No, then it's a mate.
He can take e5, yeah.
It's a mate.
Yeah. No, I was calculating something like e5, king b8 and something, but probably that was the best for him and he has some advantage.
But that pawn might get into trouble on e5 as well.
Yeah, and because it's unprotected, but probably he will change that for f7 pawn and it's a good exchange for him. But I would say it's not that simple to understand it all, in a way. And he played kind of a normal pass move, like h3, create a tempi, and see what to do from there.
Yeah.
And I went bishop b8, he went queen f5. I would say normally thinking that exchange of queens is beneficial for him because majority of his pawns are on light squares, and mine are on dark squares, and they could be quite vulnerable in that game.
Yeah.
I played c6, g4, bishop e5, queen e6, rook e6, rook d3, king c7. Around this point, I felt this position to be quite harmless for me.
Yeah, suddenly that bishop from a7 became the.
I mean, something of importance, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of importance. Now the dark. Yeah. I think g4 was. I didn't like g4. I think g4 was.
Yeah, but I agree, but at this point, I'm not sure what are his useful moves anymore.
Yeah.
For me, I kind of have idea, bishop e5, king c7, maybe exchange, maybe not, push some a5, provoke, maybe c4, sacrifice a pawn.
Yeah.
at this point, I'm kind of full of mini ideas that could improve my position a little bit.
Yeah.
But for him, he kind of reached some, let's say, optimal setup, and it's not that trivial how to improve it.
Agree. These exchange Spanish positions, like structures in general, are so tricky
Yeah, so
and deceptive.
I wouldn't say objectively if I had the choice to pick in this position between black and white that I would choose black completely. I don't know, but at this point I would say the tide is slowly changing. So he went g4, bishop e5, take, rook d3, king c7, and now king g2. To my understanding, a bit more precise was king f1, with the idea to go with king on e2. I will explain later why. But king g2 also looks kind of natural. Maybe you want h4 and stuff like that. And this is also, I mean, position is around equal, but kind of critical for the next phase of the game. Now I was thinking between, let's say, should I go a5? Should I go rook e8? Should I go rook f6 and bishop f4? Should I go rook d6? I mean, what kind of exchange I need to make in this position? And I realized that my kind of only, let's say, I wouldn't say serious way to win, but kind of the best and most principled way to continue is rook d6. I'm forcing the exchange of rooks. He has to take. If he goes bishop d2, I have c4, and all of a sudden, I would say that white is in some troubles.
Yeah.
Wow. Because if he takes, I have king c5, and if he goes b4, then all his pawns are on the dark squares, and I have c5 taking, and I have a pretty cool majority on the queen side.
Oh yeah.
So he is forced to play c4, and now I played bishop f4. And now this is what I was talking on the chess bomb and all Zura's subject. Why I wanted to show this game.
Yeah.
And this is move 30 second move, and around this time I think he had maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Okay. And actually it's quite funny what goes on here. First of all, I mean, if you go king f3 and I take, let's say king f3, I take and king e5. Yeah, and who is winning the tempi game?
All right, a3, right? He starts.
Yeah.
But so it's kind of. But you go b5, right?
But you know, probably at this point I wouldn't take on e3.
You play king e5, right?
Maybe king e5 or just go back. This was, I think, strong move, but also teasing a little bit.
and let me guess, you played that real fast.
So no, not really.
No?
No, not really. I didn't want to bluff. I was really interested to see, because I mean, if I miscalculated the one tempi in bishop f4 g4, I'm simply losing.
Yeah.
Because I will have king f3, king e5, and I will lose the game if I miscalculated one tempi, and if I calculated well, I could potentially win.
Yeah.
So, but what I wanted to say here, if I go king f3, take king e5, what turned me away from this idea of bishop f3, that he can go h4. And because if I take, he can go f4 and simply go around to take this pawn. So basically, long term, I will lose this tempi race, and I could end into some troubles.
Maybe.
So that was what turned me away from it. Very important move.
h4, right? Wait, yeah. on h4, can you still go b5?
Yeah, but I think I'm simply losing that race because
a4, yeah.
Whatever move. Let's say I take a5, he goes h5, I go f6, he goes f3, and next f4, and I can lose this easily. Yeah. I don't know if it's losing, but after f4, e5 ideas or take, it could be.
You're not winning for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And that was enough for me to discard it as an option.
Yeah, exactly.
So for that reason, I was mostly teasing him, and it was quite a provocative move. And now he took, and now we have quite an interesting pawn endgame.
It's so kind of against the logic that
black could be the side that is pushing here, even though it's completely equal.
Yeah, that's the importance of weak squares, the dark squares.
And you know, it's quite funny. I don't actually remember all the lines that I calculated, and I didn't check it everything after. But let's say if he goes king f3, I go king e5, and now we have a one tempi race.
Okay, what's going on here? So I guess if you play h4, then it transposes to the same thing, right?
If you play h4, I will start with b5. And you know what is the thing here? So I think what will decide the game here will be a queen endgame most likely, because after he goes h5, I think I have to wait. No. He cannot go h5 because I have b4. Now I'm a little bit confused. So maybe let's say a4.
Yeah.
Take.
A5 maybe.
If I go a5, and now if he goes h5, I have f6 and I'm winning.
Yeah.
And if he goes g5, I go h5 and I'm winning.
h5.
So a4 for that reason is not a very good move.
Okay, does a3 change anything? No.
If a3, here the point is
6 maybe.
You know what?
Maybe a5. A5. I think a5 wins.
Yeah.
And the same thing, and it's again one tempo.
a5, yeah, a4 is here. But also, if I remember, there was an option of if he goes h5 and I go b4, something like, can he go g5?
But you take it, right? And just go king.
I take it and he goes h6.
Oh.
And if I go king f6, he has king g4. And now I think I'm losing.
Ooh. Yeah, you are.
So you see, it's quite tricky stuff.
Yeah.
Something like that. And it was quite fascinating for me to even kind of have the audacity to enter it. Something like this. But you know what's funny? Because he played h4. Okay. He thought that it's important, and now if I go king e5, then he goes king f3.
Yeah.
But now I played a very strong pass move, king e6.
You won the tempo.
Basically, I'm saying that you just spend one tempi, you gave it away, and it will be the reason why you will lose the game.
Damn, that's actually, especially when you are in time trouble, that's a terrible feeling.
Yeah, a terrible thing to make, and actually he went king f3, and it's completely lost after king f3. And you know, actually the drawing variation, I think, is simply f3. But I would say it's not that easy for human to go into variation like king.
Now king d4.
Here, king f2, king d4, something like this. And at b5 that you take, and that you will survive this position.
Yeah.
Let's say before I go into queen side, I will have to play f6.
Yeah, but
or maybe here.
But then still, let's say king d2.
Yeah, king d2, something like it. And let's put a stockfish here.
If king,
I think here, yeah, you see, here comp gives that it's completely equal, but I think with 2 minutes and everything considered, that human being can kind of be confident that this is equal. You're losing the battle for a passed pawn. If I go c4, c3, king e3, and to calculate all that, it's not that easy.
Yeah, sure. And I guess also your king cannot easily move, so that's the point, right? From d4, because you have e5 and then g5.
Yeah, of course, that's always the resource for white, but I just want to say that I don't consider this to be so trivial.
Yeah.
Especially from this position, that you turn to defending and kind of believing that your strong potential pass pawns will guarantee you draw.
Yeah.
And to enter kind of willingly into that stuff.
That was a classic squeeze.
Yeah, but check this out now. He plays king f3. I won a tempo with king e6, and after king e5, he's just dead lost because he's losing by tempo. And he goes a3, I go b5, he goes here, I take, and I go a5, and I just block him. h5, I go f6, and he's losing.
Yeah, so
if it was my turn to move, I would lose, but I won with king e6 compared to the usual.
Well done, sir. Well done.
I mean, in a way, and then if I remember, there was some question like such a stupid loss. It was dead equal, and I agree it was dead equal, but it was not that trivial.
It's dead equal from the beginning as well.
Yeah, but in a way, actually, that's not true. It's 55-45 or 60-40 between at the beginning. Chances, let's say. I would say the easiest way for white was to go king f3 here. That was easy. Also, what was kind of natural and easy was to go king f1 here. But concretely, after this couple of stuff, it's still dead equal, it's drawish, but I wouldn't say it's that trivial.
That's a very instructive example. I feel like to all the people who say, "Oh, it's dead."
Yeah, in a way, I'm not sure if I completely kind of analyzed here all the intricacies of this pawn endgame.
Mm-hmm.
Probably I missed some important stuff, but everybody can kind of get the gist of it. So
sure.
So let's move on. Yeah.
Let's move on. And good achievement, man. This Aleksandar Kovacevic, a very strong chess player. He Grandmaster. He was near 2600, I believe.
Yeah, he was at his peak 2620. Let's say around year 2008, 2010, something around that time.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Yeah. This one turned out to be a bit longer than expected, but let's move on. Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
So second round against young Serbian player Luka Budisavljevic. He recently completed all his Grandmaster norms and became a Grandmaster at the age of 16 or 17.
Okay. Yeah, very young.
And actually, he wasn't supposed to play in the championship, but one player, my good friend Nikola Nestorovic, didn't play because of he was not feeling that well and thinking that he has corona, so he didn't want to risk it and
makes sense.
To risk health of other participants as well.
Makes sense.
So he went a6, which is the modern way of treating the Queen's Gambit structures. And now I must add that Queen c2 is not the way to play these positions. After Queen c2, objectively, white cannot expect to have any advantage whatsoever anymore.
I agree. I actually play this with black, and I've played it a couple of times. And let me tell you the funny story. What happened to the... remember the Southwest tournament that I won?
Okay.
In February. So in that tournament, I lost only one game, and that was in the second round. So I won the first round and then I lost the second round. And let me show you how. So instead of knight f3, my opponent played knight c3. So I've played on
Move 3?
yeah, move 3. So I've played knight f3 a6 couple of times, and
Okay.
well, you know that line after cd ed knight. Let's talk about that in a little bit, but first I want to mention that. So basically, I thought it was knight f3 and knight c3 are the same thing. You can still do a6. So I play a6, and the guy takes on d5 and goes
And queen b3?
queen b3. So what do I do now?
Yeah, and if you go c6, he goes this interesting line with e4, take bishop c4, and
Exactly, and
things are heating up, huh?
and imagine my thinking, because this was the morning round, and I go to the game and I play this more or less like fast, and suddenly confidence, and suddenly this guy also plays fast. Jacob for fine. He's like 2300.
Actually, you know, it's funny because when I was in US, I played him in a first or second round of Southwest tournament. I won a nice game in Trompovsky variation.
As
I
black.
played the same guy, Zura.
Wow, small world.
Yeah.
Chess world is a very narrow world. But yeah, he plays fast instantly, almost like queen b3, and suddenly I'm thinking to myself, why have I never seen this before? Like this.
Yeah, like how am I unaware of this move? Huh?
Yeah, how am I unaware of this move? Because I've played this couple of times and I've actually seen some like Fabi's games, and I've done some analysis on it, you know? So it was very strange to me, and first 5 minutes it took me to realize that, oh, this is when he plays knight f3, not knight c3.
Like, aha.
Aha, it makes sense now. So then
Go ahead, yeah.
I played c6 and we got into that e4 and bishop c4 and I got crushed. I played queen c7 there, but I think what I missed there was he has a very strong move a4. I think to stop me from playing b5, and then
you're unable to get rid of that pin. Huh?
yeah, and then bishop f4 is coming because if I play bishop f5, bishop f, that's what happened. Bishop f5.
Yeah, okay. So it went like this: e4.
Yeah.
Take bishop c4.
Yeah, I think I played queen c7 here.
C7 and very strong move a4.
Yeah, to stop b5.
And now he just wants to go knight g2, bishop f4, or short castle f3, and to crush you. Eh?
Yep. And everything is coming like 92 bishop f4 long castle and d5. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like look at my pieces. I can't like develop any of them.
Yeah. The usual way is knight f3, knight f6, knight c3, a6.
Yeah, but the other line is also interesting actually. So see, actually, after knight c3, a6, see this ed queen b3 in that line. Apparently, c5 is the main move.
Yes, c5 is the strongest move, and black is completely okay, I think.
Yeah. It's still you need some knowledge there. It's not super easy, but queen b3, c5.
For anyone interested, c5 is the move.
Yeah, best move there. Yeah, exactly. So
you know, in this variation that is played mostly.
Yeah.
I won a really nice game against Aronian with move c5, and he went knight c6. But actually, what I didn't like about this continuation, because I had an option to play c5 in the game, is because after b6, white takes. If black takes here, white has some small advantage similar to, let's say,
exchange Slav.
Yeah, like bishop f4, bishop d6, or something of similar like e3, bishop d3, make short castle and stuff like that. However, after cb6, there is a very interesting option c5.
Oh,
At the time when I checked it a little bit, it was a novelty. I'm not sure if it was but my opponent after game when we checked it a little bit, he already knew. So probably like so many people know about it, it's not a secret.
Yeah.
And actually, it's quite a huge mess, and black is completely okay. So for that reason, I didn't want it to get into this line. But let's go back to game.
Just a quick question. So against Aronian, was that a quick game? Was that a fast game? Or
that was a World Rapid game 2018.
okay.
And actually, the game I'm quite proud of. I played it really well.
Oh wow! I had no idea how I have missed that play.
Yeah.
I'm a fan, so I'm definitely gonna check that game after.
So for that reason, I didn't want to go c5 here, because after knight f6, after b6, it could turn to the same. If I take and go c5, he can go. So it's not. So basically, the best way for white is to go cd5 here or to play e3.
Yeah.
But most likely, the best way to try to fight for advantage in the openings is cd5 and to transpose to the normal line.
And put bishop probably on f4, right? That's what people do, right?
Either that. I mean, it depends if black goes knight f6 here or c6. If he goes knight f6, he can think about this bishop g5, bishop e6, and then either e3 or take and queen b3, modern stuff. So both come into consideration for some small advantage in the opening for white.
Okay.
But for some reason, I played queen c2.
All right.
Actually, this was also a morning game because we had 2 double rounds. But it doesn't really matter. The queen c2 move is simply stupid.
You kind of transpose you transpose to Catalan, but
black has ideal structure. He didn't waste any tempis. He will have such a clear way to develop and such a good game for free.
Yeah, and you don't even have bishop on the long diagonal.
b5, queen c2, bishop b7, bishop f4, knight c6. Actually, I was a little bit surprised after knight c6. I thought he will just go something like, I don't know.
Bishop d6?
Maybe even. Or what?
Bishop d6?
Maybe bishop d6, maybe even try to sack for a while with knight d7, or maybe to start with a check or check c5, but actually knight c6 is pretty strong move. Knight c6, at first I thought kind of like, strange, like, why are you putting your knight there? I went e3, and then of course I saw knight before with tempi, and now it all makes sense. And I mean, I have to kind of go queen d1, and he should simply go c5, and he is either slightly better or has a better side of equality for free. And he won the opening battle.
Are you kind of worse here after bishop e4?
Yes, after c5, I'm probably slightly worse.
Yeah, a3, knight d5, now that bishop...
Yeah, knight d5, then c4, maybe, I was thinking probably I will go knight to c3 or something, but I mean, it's a disgusting position to have after 9 moves with white.
I agree. Wait, but the bishop e4 though, is that a trouble for white, or?
Yeah, but you know, funnily enough, after bishop e4 that I kind of expected, I prepared knight c3, and all of a sudden white is better.
White is better here.
Yeah.
Who? Bishop b4 is nothing? Or you just have...
Bishop e4 is basically a waste of time and just a bad move. Because now I'm in time to develop with tempi, and if he goes, let's say, bishop c2, I just move my queen, let's say, to d2 and nothing. And if he goes knight c2, as was his idea, I just go king d2. And if he takes knight a1, I simply collect the bishop, and
the knight is stuck on
a1. Stuck, and let's say after bishop b4 check,
just king
I would probably go just knight c3.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, maybe I can get too fancy with some other move, but I think knight c3 just closes the...
Some other move, you mean like king d3 or something?
Well, I was considering before he played knight e1, like, can I go king d3? But probably there is queen d5, and after b3 he has c5 with idea c4.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a little bit too much after all.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
I must say I very much enjoy those stylish decisions, but probably it's not that good in this particular position.
Yep.
So probably knight c3 is just huge advantage, if not winning for white.
Okay.
So he had to play bishop b4, but I don't see any way for black kind of to survive. He's much worse after bishop e4. So this is kind of forced. Bishop b4, I go rook c1, he has to take.
Okay.
I was considering shortly to go king c3.
You and your king movements, man, like that.
Yeah.
You like the bring it out in the middle of the game for a stroll.
Yeah, I find it to be very stylish, and in a way it's not a just dumb king move. I'm preventing knight b4. However, there is c5.
Mm-hmm.
And if I take, there is queen a5 and I'm getting checkmated. And if I go bishop d3, he simply takes and goes knight b4 and takes out the piece.
They escape.
So yeah, I have to go bc3, but it doesn't really matter because I have a huge advantage here. Now knight is stuck on a3 and I have queen b3 with tempi.
Yeah.
He has to go queen e7, and now I'm in time to play c4. If it was his turn to move, bishop d5 would be a strong move and good control over the light squares, but I'm in time and position is quite poor.
It's yeah, I guess considering that bishop d5 is coming, then c4 is a must, right?
Yeah, it's natural. I just want to close the knight to open up space for my pieces, and if he goes, let's say, knight c4, I will take, and then I will go queen a4 check, and his pieces are poorly coordinated, and he's left with a simply bad position. Even if the end game I'm taking on c4,
yeah,
simply nice advantage for white, but probably the best he could do in this position. So he went b4.
But that gives you even more control, right?
Yeah, even more control, but kind of saving that knight. But now I have a bishop's pair, center, nice development, and too many positional trumps. So I went queen a4 check to put his king away, to not allow him to make a castle.
Mm-hmm.
He has to go king f8, knight e5, knight f6, f3, bishop e7. And now this was important position because I was considering this to be a winning position for white, but I have a couple of interesting possibilities. Mm-hmm. One of them was queen a5 with idea knight d3, knight c5, or knight d3, knight b4, and to kind of shut him down completely.
Yeah, yeah.
However, after queen a5, I wasn't completely satisfied with what goes on after knight h5. And I saw a possibility to go, let's say, knight d7, take here, but it didn't feel like this is the best I could do from that position. Let's say even f5. I'm having the nice squares, but somehow I still didn't deliver the proper finishing touch here.
Yeah, but you can take on b4, no? You can take
when?
After, oh, he has c5. Oh, but
yeah.
Then you take queen c5 and queen h5, and then you're 2 pawns up.
No, after queen b4, he will simply move away.
Takes on b7.
Take on b7, and then
You're winning a pawn there, right? But maybe
wait, if he goes c5 here,
then you take on h5 now. Now you're 2 pawns up, right?
Actually, I didn't consider this one.
No.
It could be, but also I was considering to go after knight h5 something like
Ooh.
Bishop g5,
Ooh, okay.
f6, and now some moves similar to here, but it looked a little bit too fancy. Kind of if he goes g5, knight d3. But I was kind of like, should I make it? Should I make it this way? I wasn't completely satisfied, so I decided to go for a kind of principled and educated way.
Yeah, and plus get that bishop out of the way, right?
Bishop out, come in with a tempi, want to go through the center with e4, d5, bishop e3, or e4, bishop d3. I'm leaving him only the knights which are which are placed in quite a clumsy way.
Yep.
So he took, and rook e7. Otherwise, he's losing that pawn. I went e4, a5, d5, with a primitive idea of bishop e3, bishop c5.
Yeah.
However, after a4, now if I go bishop a3, he has rook e5, and there is still some fight left.
Yeah. So
for that reason, I went d6.
So my king is on d file. Let's go d6.
Yeah. But probably this is the strongest move, because I am simply going through the center, and I just want to start rolling the c pawn. And now he went queen d7. I went queen c5. Okay. I mean, if he goes anything else than rook b7, it's simply game over.
Yeah.
Even if he changes, so rook b7, I'm finishing development, covering my king. He has to take. Yeah, if he goes c6 here, I will simply just shut him down with e5,
Oof.
bishop e3, and it's really ugly.
That looks very ugly. With the knight on a3 stuck.
Knight on a3, knight on f6, so many, and I have e5, bishop e4. It's just ugly.
Yeah.
So he took. I decided to exchange queens, and now I'm in time just to try to push the pawn all the way there. So he went c6, king d8, c6, rook b6. And actually now I was getting a little bit too excited.
Okay.
And for the following reason, I was really happy that I played move bishop c5, and I thought, wow, what a stylish way to end the game. Kind of, you're forced to move, and let's say he moves to here, and I just simply go c7
and
king
take
c7, take, and the end.
Yeah.
And of course, if he takes on c6, bishop b4, and this guy is out, and wow, what a nice way to end the game.
Yep.
However, king c7, and all of a sudden, like a shock, like poof, it's not over yet. You know, if I take, there is still some fight left. He kind of connects, maybe he. And I was like, "Ooh, like what goes on?" I thought he was about to resign, and now there is something.
Okay. One more task.
Yeah, one more task, but I quickly recovered, and I went rook hd1. Okay. And in between, I realized basically I cannot miss. Position is simply that good. It kind of plays itself. Yeah. It's not that I'm doing something special, but just position is that strong.
So how did you convert?
I'm about to show it. King e3, and now he went rook cb8, and I believe the move I played is the most stylish.
Ooh, nice.
Bishop
nice. Tie them up. Tie them up completely.
So with the following idea, open the d file, and my idea is bishop d6. If he takes, I'm going bishop d6, king c8, bishop b8, with threat c7, rook d8. If he takes, I'm simply promoting my queen. Yeah. If he doesn't take, I will go c7, and if he goes knight d7, I take and promote.
Yep. That's as Shaq would say, that's a barbecue chicken. That's
and if he goes Rook c6. I also have bishop d6 because his king is pinned and he cannot take.
98 is the only move, right?
Yeah, basically the only move. 98, and now I went bishop b7. He took, I took. He went here. Yeah, and here, what I would like to add is one more thing. Just a moment. Yeah. What looks like the easiest way to convert here is bishop b6.
Okay.
King b6, c7, knight c7, rook d6.
d6, yeah.
And king a5, rook c7.
Yeah, you just win the other piece.
However, this is also completely winning, but to me it felt like there is still a little bit of struggle left. Kind of like I have to think a little bit about b3. And to me, the best way to do it was not to enter any of this stuff, but to convert it with bishop b7. Because I'm not leaving him any passed pawns, I'm taking the b4 pawn, I'm only an exchange up, but my pieces are completely dominating. So from a perspective of kind of what is the best way to convert, maybe objectively it's a little bit more precise to go the other way, but I consider this to be the stronger way and more human and proper way to convert.
That's very interesting. So not giving the opponent counterplay, right?
Yeah, kind of limiting any possible option that he potentially could have. I mean, it's completely winning either way, but concretely this way, I would say it's a bit more.
In general, that translates to your approach, I think, and to your psychology, how you approach it. I feel like, okay, right now, obviously, a lot of moves are winning in this position, most likely. But if it was little different, like when it's plus, I don't know, 0.5 or 0.7, you know, and
yeah, I would say I consider those type of transformations of position really important, and I approach them with high interest usually in my games, especially when I have winning position. Kind of the most proper way to finish it, the most elegant finishing touches.
Yeah.
That subject is dear to me in chess, let's say.
I see.
So I went bishop b7, he took, and now this was my point. Like bishop b4, forcing the knight back, I'm entering, total control.
Yeah, you're taking it under.
Everything, yeah, picking it up, just finishing, taking, and now boom, bishop a5, and here is I. Yeah.
Domination.
And in a way, it all happened because he made one big mistake in a game, bishop b4. One big mistake, and here he had a chance to put much better resistance if he took on c4. After b4, it's simply game over.
Did he play bishop e4 fast? Did he?
Yeah, it was kind of like his preparation, but I played knight c3 instantly because after I saw knight before, I realized that there is this resource and I have very nice chances.
Okay.
Also, if he takes bishop f3,
you have queen f3, then queen c6.
F3 and then like queen c6, bishop c7, d5, and it's too much, I think.
Yeah.
So this is game number 2.
All right. You wanna do one more?
Yeah, okay.
I think
we have like half an hour more, or how much?
Yeah. So you're gonna play
probably one more, and maybe if there is time, 2. But let's see. Yeah.
Let's do yeah. Because I want to ask also a few questions.
Okay, then one more, and we can wrap it up with questions. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, that would be, I think, a good idea.
And this is the third round of the tournament. My opponent was Ivan Ivanišević, probably the best Serbian player in the last 15 years, and also the most successful in Serbian championships because he has 6 titles.
6 titles. Ooh.
Yeah, 6 titles. And actually, it was really impressive that he won in year 2008 or 2009. Championship was played with 13 rounds, and he made 11 and a half out of 13.
Ooh.
And average rating was something like 25. He made a monstrous result, and like very, very impressive.
2000 what year?
2008 or 9.
All right.
It was a long time ago, but it was very impressive. And when I was a kid, I was like so impressed when I saw it. And when I started participating in championships, occasionally I was going back to that journal where it was that result, and I was quite inspired.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I mean, Ivan has been an inspiration for many.
and also his playing style is quite interesting. He's quite imaginative, and I must admit that I enjoy watching his games quite a lot.
Yeah.
And to add one more thing, because before this tournament, I won the Serbian championship twice, and he won 6 times. However, in the last, he won in the year 2017 and 19. I won in 2014 and 2018.
Okay.
However, neither I or him played when the other guy won recently.
In 19?
Yeah, so in 2017 and 19, when he was winning the championship, I didn't play. And when I was winning the championship, he didn't play.
I see. So this was the first real.
Kind of first real clash when we were both here.
I see.
So kind of to see whose tournament this is. Let's put it that way, yeah.
Yep. The critical round.
And for me, that was quite an interesting thing.
For sure.
So yeah, let's go on. Knight f3, e6, and he went knight bd2.
Okay.
I mean, usually when white has to, when white wants to play a little bit slower, he either goes bishop f4 or bishop g5.
Yeah.
Or e3.
Yeah.
Are more popular ways to get a similar kind of squeeze.
Yeah.
Knight bd2 is also a possibility.
Yeah.
Usually white wants to go like e3, bishop b3, b3, bishop b2, and
yeah, but why start with knight bd2? You can start with like e3, right?
You can. One of the things that I considered, maybe you want to provoke d5, because if black goes, let's say, b6, he can go e4 maybe.
Ah, I see. Yeah.
And the other possibility that I didn't like, c5 looks quite natural and good, but I didn't want to play reversed Meron.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Bishop d3. All right.
And I for some reason I don't really like those positions. I know they're good, they're all is normal, but I don't find them that interesting.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to play that way. I played d5, e3, b6, e3, bishop d6. Maybe there were some other ways to be more precise. He went bishop b2, and yeah, now I played c5, but maybe short castle was a bit more practical, let's say, because now I give him option of bishop b5 as well, and let's say dc and c4 and stuff. So maybe it was a bit more precise to go first short castle, and once he shows his cards with his bishop, then to go c5, bishop b7, and to fight for central squares. So he went bishop b5, knight bd7, c4, short castle. He took, I took, short castle, bishop b7, rook c1, queen e7. And this position, for me, computer says it's pretty much equal, but I consider this to be more promising for black. To me, it feels that black won the opening battle here. So white cannot enter through e5. My plan is quite simple. I want to force away that light squared bishop, to go knight e4, potentially f5, to start some action through the center and the king side. And it feels like it's not that easy for white to come up with strong plan.
And he's lost the time with bishop b5, right?
Yeah. So he went rook c2. Kind of interesting way to regroup. One of the possibilities is probably like queen a1, bc, and try to open the diagonal for bishop and to exert some influence there.
Yeah.
But I went a6, bishop d3, knight e4.
Yeah.
And now, and now my idea is quite simple. I want to go f5 and organize some action on the king side. So he went dc, bc, bishop e4. Strategically dangerous decision, but quite interesting as well. He's parting away with bishop pair, but he's getting a nice c4 square for his knight.
Yeah. Always a dilemma for me. Usually.
Yeah, exactly. The right word is dilemma, because you kind of have to evaluate and sense what will turn to be a long-term factor that is more important.
Yep. Yep.
So he went knight c4 with a tempi. I went bishop c7, just moving away, protecting him to go knight e5, keeping the connection between the rooks.
Yeah.
And now he went knight e1. At first, this looks a little bit unnatural for me. I thought kind of the way is to go knight fd2, and I prefer black there anyway.
Yeah.
But kind of knight e1 to me looks strange, because you're kind of stopping the connection between the rook and the queen. That rook is quite passive.
Yeah.
And I was unsure about the way that knight will come back into play later on. So I went rook a d8, rook d2, and now I went f5. Looking back, thinking afterwards and analyzing it a little bit, maybe it's a little bit too hasty. It's kind of natural. I want to go knight f6, knight g4, or something similar, but maybe it's not the best. I was considering knight b6 as well.
Yeah.
Because f5, it makes sense, but I am compromising my strategy long term. After, let's say, queen a1, later on, if I go knight f6, maybe he can take on d8, potentially bishop e5. So probably it was not the best move. Knight b6 was a serious option, but also, if I remember, knight b8 with idea knight c6, knight b4. And quite stylish, and I didn't consider knight b8 at all. Knight b6 I did, but knight b8 I didn't consider at all.
Knight b8 is nice, I agree.
Yeah, knight b8 is quite nice, regrouping your pieces, keeping the structure intact. Potentially f6 to restrict the activity of white pieces even more.
Yeah.
So, yeah. However, I played f5, and he played g3. To me, g3 looked quite like, I mean, I kind of understand he wants to move his knight there, protecting all kinds of threats connected with knight f6, bishop h2, knight g4. But it looked like the long-term weakening will kind of tell. But in a way, it's a normal move. So I went knight f6, knight g5, knight g2, and now g5. And I was quite happy with this move, because I'm completely restricting the movement of knight on g2. And I'm kind of saying that I'm not afraid of that diagonal after queen a1. And my point was, let's say if he goes rook d8, queen a1, my idea was to go king f7.
King f7? I thought you would go...
And even if he goes, let's say, even if he goes like this, queen here,
yeah,
I was simply considering it not a serious threat. I can go rook d5, I can go h6, even if he takes. Even something like this, I thought it's completely cool for black, because that knight on g2 will tell long term.
Yeah, and it's...
And let's say, I don't know, here, queen c7, rook d5, it's not that easy for white to organize something good.
I agree.
That was my idea during the game.
Also, knight d5, you would probably trade, right? On king f7, knight d5 check.
Or maybe I would simply go king e6 as well. Because I don't see any kind of threat for white there.
I don't know, maybe f4.
Yeah, f4 I can take. And let's see, maybe.
I
don't know if king e6, but I was thinking in that direction. Let's say take, probably take, yeah?
Yeah.
and then take, and simply knight e4.
Yeah. Yeah, the knight is still still terrible.
Yeah, still completely out of the game, and long term he was the deciding factor.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I thought the g5 to be quite a cool move and long term very important strategical move.
Oh, for sure. If queen bishop battery was the queen was first, bishop before the bishop, it would be different. But I don't think he can get that comfortable.
He can achieve it that easily.
Yeah.
And now he played quite a bad move, but what to do? He played h4, and of course I played h6 just to keep the structure intact.
Mm-hmm.
However, now I have very interesting, very nice square on g4 available for my
For
knight.
the knight, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And now he took, I took, he went queen e2, I went king f7 first.
Mm-hmm.
He went rook d1, bishop d5, rook d2, and now I went knight g4.
Okay.
And it's a pretty nice advantage for me. Of course,
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know if like completely objective play from both sides this is winning. I would say it is, but still a lot of play ahead.
Yeah.
And now he went queen d1, and I decided to transform the advantage with bishop c4.
Make it simple.
Yeah. And now if he goes rook d8, I will exchange queens, but he took, I took, and then queen d8. Probably a little bit more precise was queen d6.
How?
I realized that after I played the move, because if he exchanges, I take with the bishop, my pawn on c5 is not hanging. So after I go, let's say, king e6, knight e5 later on, or bishop somewhere,
Yeah.
he cannot go, let's say, bishop a3 with attempt to attack on c5.
I see.
And he can do that if he exchanges here.
Is it enough to like takes? Oh, but c4. So let's say takes on d8, right?
Yeah.
Takes on g5, hg, and knight e1.
Yeah, knight e1, and here I was considering
bishop f6, right?
Yeah, bishop f6, or maybe first king e6 and then bishop f6, or to protect on d6. And here I was considering kind of like 50-50. I have a 50% chances to win or 50% chance to make a draw.
Pretty good odds.
Yeah, and I was happy with those odds.
Yeah.
However, he decided to keep the queens in play.
Yeah.
And now I finished the game quite well. I went bishop to a5, and I have a very simple idea: queen d3, and he cannot prevent either queen e2 and checkmate, or exchange of the queens and promoting of the pawn.
Pawn, yeah.
So let's say, I don't know. Okay, not king f1, but let's try to make it.
Make something work.
Yeah, because after f3 I had the
Knight f2. Knight f2.
Some exemplary line.
Nice.
So he went bishop a3. However, I still have queen d3, and he went queen b3. And I think his idea was kind of like, if I go queen e2, he has some checks and some idea with a5 and some good drawish chances. However, after queen d3, I prepared beforehand king g6. Yeah. And now there are no checks, and simply after bishop c2, queen e2, he will have to go knight f4, but I'm simply winning there.
The piece.
Yeah.
Wow, man, that was a dominant game from start to the end. That was a complete game. I feel like.
Yeah, in a way, I mean, you cannot win a game if opponent is not cooperating a bit. But I was happy with what I was doing. So
that set the mood for the tournament.
Yeah, and actually, I had 3 out of 3, and I was quite satisfied with how things are going on.
Nice, nice, and
Yeah.
that was that led to the then that gave you freedom in the second part of the
Yeah,
part of the.
and then I lost game four in a nice way. I had some chances, but I was quite shallow in my decisions.
Oh, Branko, right?
Okay. Yeah,
Damljanovic.
yeah. I lost a really nice game to him.
Yeah.
Before that game, I succeeded in winning 4 games in a row, all with white. And now I had nice position, but I was quite shallow in my decisions, so I lost deservedly.
Yeah, I
And
saw.
then in game five, I lost nice game again, I would say. But maybe we can keep it for the next time if you want.
Yeah, I
I
want.
mean, we can go over that game quickly as well, but as you wish.
Um, I know. So you're playing a tournament in 45 minutes. So I don't want
Yeah.
to. I don't want to take you out of the zone. You know, give you a little bit of flexibility.
Okay, sure.
To
So
to
if
to
you want.
to catch a break.